the button, baby. Stay cool. This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents...
Hello, I'd like to tell you a story about the most snow I've ever seen in Texas, the greatest horse I've ever known, and one of the most magical nights of my life. It was 2010, and the snow was falling all day. Everything had been shut down in Texas, because when it gets this cold and this icy, people are not prepared for it. So I was hanging out at the ranch, playing with Onkelman. He was an Arabian, and he was bred from the black stallion that was in the movie, The Black Stallion. And so when I looked out and I saw Onkelman hanging out in the front pasture under his favorite tree, I just had to go play with him. He looked so cold. Thought I'd go and warm him up a little. He was like half horse, half dinosaur. It's hard to explain. You would have had to know him. Sometimes the way he would shake his head and his neck and his whole body, and the way he would move, it would just remind me more of a dinosaur than a horse. And so I went out, and we played, and we played, and we played. He kept trying to knock me over. He was a cranky stallion. I told you, he was a stallion, man. So the day was amazing. I played with the horses, and drank beer. And back then in Texas, they had something called synthetic legal marijuana. So I thought I'd dabble with it. And it was pretty interesting, I gotta say. It was so interesting, they soon legalized it and made it a Schedule I drug. Isn't it crazy how they do that? Like, did you know ecstasy used to be a legal drug that they gave to married couples who were having problems talking and or having sex? So they would give them ecstasy and then say, go home, take this, and then try to talk. Apparently it worked so great for so long, they decided to illegalize it. Where was I? Oh yeah. So you're frozen in. You're not going anywhere. So it's okay to get a little crazy, right? So then night fell. And during the day, 18 inches fell. Now the ranch is about 15 acres. And I'd say there's over 1,000 trees on the ranch. So at night, I went outside and I stood with Onkelman by the big tree in the middle. And we stood there from about 11 p.m. at night to I went in about 3:30 or 4 in the morning, because it was literally one of the most amazing nights I'd ever had in my life. And I've had a lot. Like when I moved to Hollywood, I drove from Texas to Los Angeles. And during that time, as we were driving through Nevada, there was a full-on lightning storm where lightning just was striking everywhere all around us throughout the desert. And Moby's God Moving Over the Face of Waters was playing. And I was with my girlfriend at the time. That was a magical moment. This was one of those as well. Why was it so magical? Because first of all, transformers were blowing all over the city. Pow! You'd see the sky light up, and then you'd hear the loud pop after, because light travels faster than sound. But it would light up the whole sky. And I would say a transformer went off like every 5 minutes all over the city. And you could see for miles and miles and miles that night. And then, on top of that, all that snow on all those tree branches froze from snow to ice. And the trees weren't ready for it. And the trees hadn't had anything like this in, I don't think, 30 years, 50 years. I don't even know how long. I'd never seen snow like that. Not in Texas. I was born in Illinois. Both of my grandparents are from Wisconsin. I've been to Minnesota. That's normal for there. Texas, it's totally weird. So the trees would break. And when a healthy tree breaks, its limb, its branch, sounds like a cross between thunder and an explosion. It's hard to describe. But I think I heard 1,000 branches break that night. We're talking big branches. We're talking giant trees cracking in half. And a 100 feet tall tree just snaps like a twig. And the most amazing thing was, Onkelman would slowly drift towards the direction of whatever branch was going to break next, like a compass. And then, when it would break, whether it was like a mile away, a half mile, he would run like 5 or 6 feet towards the direction of the broken branch. So it was like this amazingly bizarre symphony of transformers popping, lighting up the sky, and then tree branches breaking, one after another. Kapow! Kapow! I just stood there with Onkelman all night watching it. And that was the night I learned how accumulating snow can freeze into ice, and if it gets too heavy, only infrastructure that is pre-prepared for it will be prepared for it, can withstand what's coming. So to my friends on the East Coast, to my friends in Canada, this is going to be a long winter. In the next 3 weeks, you're probably going to see a lot more snow. So please do what you can to keep the ice off your roof and keep an eye on the trees that are around, because they can only take so much. One cool thing about the ranch is the animals live a really long time because they get a lot of love, and it's a magical place. I miss it, and I miss Onkelman for sure. He was the coolest horse ever. Anyway, God bless everyone, and God bless all horses. Horses are cool, noble, majestic, magical, and great pals to hang out in a field and drink beer with. They don't ever look up at the stars, though. I try and get them to. Man, they're just not interested. They're like a lot of people that way, I guess. But that's okay. They're still really cool.